Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. It's time for the training pod. We are talking today about truly launching a business. And this is just for the people that you come across that have a why or that have a what that is big enough that they're willing to do something when they come into Activz. So it's really important if you're joining that you figure out why you're here. And if you have somebody new joining, have that conversation with them to figure out why are they here? What do they want from this? Do they want just an access to good products and be able to share gently with people here and there? If so, you need to be aware of that so that you're working with people that have a bigger dream and that we're just supporting them with tools and knowing when the doctor calls are and whatnot. But you're looking for people that are business minded or people that maybe aren't, but have a desire. They've seen people succeed in these businesses and they just want their turn. If they want to make $5,000 or more a month, then they need to launch it as a business. And too often people just continue to poke at it and never launch. Guys, that is just like getting a big, huge airplane and driving around on the tarmac for an hour. If you've ever been on that plane, it's very frustrating. I was once in an airport, and it was one of the larger airports in the country. And literally, we were on the tarmac for about 3 hours, and there were about 80 planes doing the same thing we were, just negotiating and doing this train around the airport, and nobody was happy. Everybody was frustrated because nobody was on the way to their destination. Well, the same thing happens in network marketing. People get in and go, it didn't work. It didn't work. Well, they never got their lift. They never got off the ground. So it's so important that if you are the upline, that you show them how. And if you're brand new and seeing this, this is how. You need to have a business strategy. You need to write it down and have a clear path. Too many people just don't write it down. And guys, it's a critical step. There are brain studies that talk about what happens when it goes from here to written or here to written. So you need to have a business strategy. You need to know what your plan is. And here at Activz, we suggest a 90-day push. Whether you're brand new or starting fresh right now, it doesn't matter. A 90-day push means getting your list long enough that you don't run out of people to call when you are making a big push. So we suggest 100, 200, maybe even 300 names. You're going to run into voicemails. You're going to run into people that have COVID. You're going to run into people that are sick or out of town. You're looking for the people that aren't. You're looking for the people that are sick and tired of their situation and want something to change. But you need to have enough on your list to be able to get through that. And then you need to figure out what your plan is. So in the first 30 days, if you're launching, we suggest 5 in 30 days. Get to A3. That's a benchmark. It's a really, really big benchmark. But then you want to get another 5 within the next 60 to 90 days. So you're part of the 500 club. So that is the game plan. You need to have the list in place to do it. It's not enough to just be out there knocking doors every day. If that's your only option, then do it, but do it with enough passion and enough speed that you're putting enough numbers in front of this that you can get those people in place to be able to accomplish those kind of goals. We can also use social media. Nick has an incredible program that you can plug in to learn how to use and harness and harvest social media, because there's billions of people out in this world, and a good portion of them are sick and tired of their situation and would like to have something change. You need to set up some sort of a launch date so that you're working towards that. Now, if your people are local, do something together. This should be a fun business. And a fourth of the people that you talk to are going to be motivated by fun. They're going to be motivated by the thoughts of the cars and the trips and the fun, exciting. It's really important that you understand who you're talking to. So if you're talking to a friend and you know a little bit about them, it would be a good idea to think about what you know about them and really think about what drives them. Are they driven by fun and excitement? Well, if you talk to them about NERF2 and SOD and science, it's going to just, right? They want to know that they can be part of something really special and that you're going to go on a beach somewhere in 2 years and be on an all expense paid 5-star vacation, and you don't want to do it without them. And that might be all the conversation you have to have. Or they might be somebody that's like me, that's a list person, And they need to know that everything's in place. If you listen to me present, you'll know exactly what kind of person I am, because it met this criteria and it met this criteria and it met this criteria. And I need to know that all of those things are in place for a solid opportunity, or I won't join it. That's what drives me. My husband is a car guy. He wants to know that he can be free from his job and he can get a fast car. He doesn't care about the list. That's me. He still presents from that standpoint. But guys, some people need all the science. Some people are analytical and they need to know all of the pieces of the science. So know how to send them to PubMed and send them to activz.info. The science and tech section is set up for them. You're going to have another group of people that are really just driven by helping and making a difference in the world. And so when you can wrap your arms around them, I had an entire group a year ago. I need to go reconnect with them. I have a meeting set up in a few days, actually, with their leader to see where they're at. Because this lady was literally just building amongst her friends, saying, come and look at this. This is a platform where we can make $1 million. And then we're each going to take $100,000 of it. Actually, she said, I think it was 300,000 that they were going to take per year. That's pretty lofty goal, but that was her friends group. That's how they thought. They were going to take $300,000 a year and put it into a pool. And she was going to get enough people that they would be able to have $1.5 million that every year they could go and drop it on some good cause. She was all about making a difference for people. And this was literally just a tool to allow her to make money to make a difference in the world. So if you notice, when I present, I try and hit all of those aspects. I try and hit the science for the analytical. I try and hit the list for the list taker. I try and hit the fun for the people that want to come and have fun. And I try and hit the do good in the world, because you don't necessarily know, especially if you're doing a presentation for a group, who you're talking to. I'm going off on a tangent here, but just a little hint: as you're talking to your friends, you might be able to shorten the conversation if you can hone in on what drives them. Just a little hint. But if you're brand new, you shouldn't be being the message unless you have the biggest belief in the room. We have people that get into this and just start calling people, just start calling friends and start calling colleagues, because they've done this before or they have enough belief in it. We have people that have never done it before, but they get the science, they get everything, and it just clicks in them, and they have the biggest belief in the room, and they get out and they just run. That's great. But if you don't have the biggest belief in the room, you need to know what the tools are that you can use. And those tools involve things like a one-on-two, right? So it's one-on-one with you and your guest, and your mentor is there being the message, because you need to be having the messenger have the biggest belief in the room. I have no problem if people come at me with, is this a Ponzi scheme? I have no problem showing them why they are completely off their rocker, what a pyramid scheme looks like, what the shape of business is, how this is a viable business. I will take that on all day long. But somebody that's brand new, that doesn't have the belief, that might put them in a corner in fetal position. So set yourself up for success by having a presenter that has the biggest belief in the room. And if they're not close, use a three-way call. Do a Zoom. Anytime that you can be with your guest in the same location, even if you aren't presenting, and put them on a speakerphone on three-way call and you're there together, that's better than being at a distance. Anytime you can have that connection knee to knee with somebody, it's going to build relationship. And that is a critical part of this business. One of our leaders had me do a lot of Zooms in the beginning, but had people at their house watching with them, and they'd be breaking bread together. So they'd have a barbecue, or they'd do something fun, right? Fun person. They'd have fun with their friends and their neighbors, and they would have me come in and be the presenter, and they just would Zoom it to their, or hook it to their screen TV. And I was almost the same size as if I was in the room. So it worked really, really well, but they had people with them and had that relationship going. We're willing to travel and willing to come and do live meetings, absolutely. But Zooms always work. If you've got people on your list that are not close by, we can build this business anywhere with the modern technology that we have. You have the recorded presentations. You have the presentations Monday through Friday, every single night. There should be nothing that should stop you from building this business if you can get out of your own way and stop overthinking it. It's not scary. After you get past the initial, you just have to jump in. It's kind of like when you go to the pool when you're little and you tip your toe in and it just feels cold. Well, the best way to get used to it is just to go all in, right? Just go for it. Once you're wet, it warms up pretty quick. Or you forget about the cold because you go numb. This business is the same way. If you'll just jump in and just figure it out, if you're not being successful with what you're doing, but you're making efforts, then take it to an upline and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm not getting the results. What can I change or what can I do different? But we want you to just jump in and make action. And there are enough plans laid out in the training sections of our back office and in activz.info that can literally help you strategize step by step. But the main thing is A3. Go 5 people with the $500 pack in your first 30 days and help people get a rank, help them get a check, help them get some success, but make sure that you're asking them the questions first. Why are they here and what do they want? Because you'll be surprised at the answers that you hear. It's oftentimes not what you expect. And too often we assume and we just, expect this and that from them. And at the end of the day, that's not what they want. Somebody might have a plan to make, $50,000 by the end of the first year, or they want to experience what it feels like to make $100,000 a month, or they'd like to make more. Some people have these big lofty visions and some people just want to make $5,000 and be able to get rid of their job. You need to know what they want. Okay, I could go on and on. We are going to keep this within the 15-minute period. So whether you're brand new or whether you're starting somebody that's brand new, sit down with them and write out a plan. It doesn't need to take hours or days. Do the detail stuff quick. Make the list quick. And guys, the contact list on your phone does not count. That's a source. It's a resource. It's not your list. Use that to help jog your memory. Write it down physically. There's something that happens when you put it on paper. It's literally been proven scientifically. So if I were to reach out to any of my leaders and say, please show me your game plan for the next 30 days, I hope they'd be able to just take a picture and send it back to me because it's right in front of them. I really, really want this for each of you. And I know that you all have plans. Everybody on here wants to build a business. So we really just need to make sure that you have it clear in front of you, and then you're taking the proper steps to make sure that it happens. We are doing all that we can to empower you and to make sure that you have viable, believing, good presenters that are presenting every night, Monday through Friday. In fact, this week we have Saturday as well. Sometimes we have that. Saturday's on request. So we're getting more and more meetings that are happening on Saturdays. So you can literally have those tools available. It's your job to be thinking of the people to put in front of them. And please don't overthink it. If they come to your mind, write them down. Write down next to the name why you thought of them, because that is how you're going to help approach them. We'll have another training coming up probably next week talking about how to have that conversation and what to say and how to talk to them. So come back and join us next week. And this is it for today's training pod. Thanks everybody for being with us. Go build your business and change some lives.